I realized I didn't know that. So welcome. We are going to be playing Call of Cthulhu today. A quick note up front, because it seems like it's probably prudent given doing horror of any kind. A brief content warning of there's going to be some mild violence and some mild body horror in this. To our players, I want to make sure that sounds okay before we go any further.
It's fine.
Yeah. Also, if at any time, I'm a big fan of the X card model of it, which is if at any time there's something that you're just, this isn't working for you, you can send a message in the Discord chat privately. I've got it up to my left so I can see in case someone pokes me there. You can send it in the group chat and no questions asked. I will just move us to the next thing and shut down what's going on there. And it'll be the wonderful cinematic style of just we fade to black and we just go to the next thing. Hopefully we don't have any of that, but I also like that to be there as an extra level of safety if that works. So Call of Cthulhu is a horror game. It is an investigative game. So we're doing a lot of talking to people, and a lot of trying to learn secrets and get to the bottom of otherworldly and possibly supernatural mysteries. So I have two players this evening. I'm Tyler, and I'll be running as keeper. And just any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns before I kind of jump into the next spiel? No, we got some nods now.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So we are casting ourselves back to the 1920s in the fictional city of Arkham. It's in Massachusetts. We're in the midst of Prohibition and the Jazz Age. Arkham is a smaller university community. It's about an hour or two north of Boston on the river, and it's just starting to get jazz and some of the other to the 1920s bohemian and very out there ideas in the street, whether it be anarchism and communism, the concept of free love, or just not paying attention to prohibition, and whatever brings Massima and Elizabeth here. They find themselves on a dreary Friday evening. By Friday evening, I mean Friday late afternoon, early evening, in the home of the Wilcox family. Edwin and Grace have invited you through family connections and the promise of money and a great deal of guilt and really anything they can dangle in front of you to come deal with a familial problem they have. They live just outside of Arkham, and they are old money in timber. So they're you find yourselves in the front room of a mansion being served tea. Edwin, the father, is in a full suit. He's distinguished looking. His hair is white and patrician. And Grace is in a oh my gosh, I'm right in front of the style of dress. She's in a conservative dress, and she isn't quite pacing because it would be unseemly, but it's very much giving off the nervous energy. And after much hemming and hawing, Edwin finally lets out that they're concerned about the sort of people their son, Eugene, has been hanging around with. To which Grace cuts in, she is nothing but a gold digger. We don't trust these people. Edwin says. They say that they're European nobility, and Eugene's been over there every week, and the father has been over here asking for money. But I think that I don't want my son involved in any sort of scandal, if you understand. So Grace then pipes up. She goes, I found this in Eugene's dresser. And she throws a piece of cardstock onto the coffee table. It's gilded print, and it says the Arkham Bacchanal, come one, come all to the Varga estate on 865 Halsey Street on Friday evening at 8 o'clock. So what you could do here, for example, is you could roll an intelligence or a credit rating to see if your character would know anything about this. So we're writing about Halsey Street, or could suss anything out from the context of this. Credit rating is going to be your skill, that is your social connections, your social cachet, and your ability to get together money in a hurry. And intelligence is just what you're seeing, noticing in the world around you.
Share your home search on Realtor.com.
I'd be curious if I know anything about this family as of being a reporter.
Yeah, the Wilcox family. Yep, of course. For that, you can roll me an intelligence, please, and thank
you. What I'm looking for, lower than.
Correct. You would like to roll underneath your intelligence roll.
I succeeded.
Excellent. So the Wilcox family is what are called conservative reformists, or I'm having a moment to get their name. So basically what they are is they are small c conservatives. They generally believe, like, everyone should kind of take care of their own household. They don't want to be part of any scandal. They're from older money and all the various things that come with that. That being said, they do support the recent efforts that have been going through to, deal with rampant corruption, particularly in places like Boston, Chicago, and New York. So, they're trying to be good, responsible citizens, and they're trying to, if they're not teetotalers, they aren't the sort of people who are blatantly flaunting violating prohibition. If they're violating prohibition, they're doing it very much on the down low. So image is very important to these people. And other than that, they are very wealthy. They probably own, in the Arkham Valley, they probably own half of the timber operations. Did you want to make any rolls? Oh, sorry. Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to ask if there was anything that I might have recognized from the party invitation.
Yes. Halsey Street and estate do not go together. Arkham is not known generally for having estates in the city proper. Most would be outside of it. And Halsey Street is, it's not a poor area of town by any stretch, but it would not be an estate. So someone is putting on airs or trying to make this seem something else. You don't recognize the Varga family name. So the party is tonight, Grace says. I took the invitation, to keep Eugene at home, but he just laughed and said he was going to be going anyways. We just want you to go and see what he's up to and ensure that he's young and he's foolish and he's a lot more of a lot of things than sense.
You're asking us to accompany him or follow him?
I would like you to attend the party as well, and at the very least, and attempt to suss out what these Vargas are actually after.
Okay.
And Edwin kind of grumbles and goes, any attempts to haul him out of there or make any sort of big to-do it's not gonna be more problem than it's worth, but as my wife says, there's something certainly off about their insistence on money and how much they spend, given that they don't seem to have any of their own.
You just want us to go and check it out.
Yes, please attend the party and find out what you can about the Vargas and try to ensure Eugene isn't getting himself into too much trouble.
I head to the party.
Okay, so yeah, are you gonna go together?
Sure. Elizabeth, would you like to go to accompany me to the party?
Can you not hear me?
No. Oh no.
Oh, you can't hear me.
Now I can.
Yeah.
Oh,
now.
okay. Oh, yeah, I'll accompany you.
Excellent. So, you take a car into town. The Wilcoxes have lent you theirs for the evening, and all of Halsey Street is filled with cars parked along the street. That's it certainly seems like anybody is here. As I said, Halsey Street, the house is quite large, but it is a step or two shy of a mansion and certainly not an estate. You walk up the front walkway. It's not too far back from the street, and you see a middle-aged woman who's a little short, appearing to be in a heated argument with a larger woman who has arms like iron. Like she is not large, but definitely muscular. The woman at the door, and she's in a acceptably fitting maid's outfit. And the middle-aged woman is, do you not know who I am? Don't you know who you're talking to? And the maid seems to be just going like, and trying to shoo her away. So I'm going to actually have each of you make a psychology roll, please. So psychology rolls are used to kind of get a sense of what the other person is, what their emotional state is, and or if they're lying to you.
Made mine.
That one?
Yes.
Yes, so both of you did. It certainly seems like the maid doesn't really. This isn't a conversation that's going on. The maid, you're not positive whether or not the maid knows what's being said to her. She's quite unresponsive to anything this woman's saying. And is just kind of vehemently like, nope, can't come in. In body language alone, and isn't saying anything back to her. Like this entire time you stood there, the maid hasn't said any words.
I go ask if I can help them.
I certainly hope so. When the middle-aged woman turns to you, she goes, Massima,
Yes.
Which paper were you with again? I think I've seen your byline.
The Boston Daily.
Yes, well, of course. I'm just Madeline Manchester with the Advertiser. And she puts out her hand to shake yours.
I shake her hand.
You can make an intelligence roll to see if you know who this is or not, because it's not a single paper. It's one of the two Arkham local papers. So, like, she is not big city reporter. She is a smaller town reporter. So there is a little bit of a class thing that could be going on there.
I'm just kind of putting on airs to try to get in.
100%. She's putting on airs to try to get in. And then the maid kind of gives you a pretty it's just a shade shy of like a scowl, and you're almost getting like disgruntled bouncer vibes from the maid. You do have the invitation from the Wilcoxes as well.
I show her the invitation.
Yeah. She takes it and she holds it really close, and she's like scrutinizing it pretty close, like she might actually need glasses. And then she steps out of your way and she kind of goes,
Tell the nice middle-aged lady it was nice to meet her and move on.
Okay. So Madeline tries to enter after you and is stopped by the arm of the maid. But Elizabeth and Massimo are able to make their way into the foyer. It is a 2-story entrance hall with stairs going up right in it. There is a flagstone floor. It's clean, but it's definitely seen better years. There's a number of cracks, and there's a lot of signs of, not a lot of money here. The staircase has been painted recently, but they didn't bother to like remove the old paint, so it looks very uneven. And then the red carpet runner shows quite a bit of wear. From there, you can see to your left, there appears to be a parlor. Which has there is smoke billowing out of it, and a intense but quieter chat, versus from the sitting room on your right, there is a piano with a long-haired man playing, and he's currently playing It Had to Be.
Is there anyone else in that room?
Yes, there is an impromptu choir of 4 guests, severely inebriated, and calling them a choir is a little bit insulting to choirs, because what they are what they lack in talent, they're making up for with a great deal of enthusiasm. So yeah, you have those two rooms that are most readily apparent. It looks like there is a kitchen behind the staircase. Or you can go upstairs and see what's up there.
Seeing as though we were asked to come to kind of observe the kiddo, is there, what ages are the individuals, say maybe in the choir?
The choir appears to be mostly university students. The general party appears to be ranging from university students to mid-40s. It looks like a couple of professors might have joined in. You can see from kind of this extra couple of moments in the foyer that there is a makeshift bar in the sitting room near the piano that has dozens of bottles of scotch and rye and gin, which is a lot for a party like this. You do see half held up by the bar, and by bar again, it's a dining room table shoved against a wall, is a 40-something-year-old man who is half lounging, half drinking in what appears to be a pretty serious conversation with a 30-something man who is appears to be drinking from a tall water glass.
I'm curious about what's going on upstairs. About you.
So I was thinking about maybe mixing a drink and heading upstairs to see if maybe the younger crowd is upstairs.
Of course. You head upstairs. There is the second story of the foyer, which has like the little I never know what they're called, but that little like wraparound hallway thing. So it looks down into the main section of it. You see that there are appear to be 4 rooms up here. If you're at the top of the stairs, there is one at 10 o'clock, one at 2 o'clock, one at 4 or 5 o'clock, and one at 7, 8 o'clock. The top 2 look to be quite a bit bigger, and the other 2 look to be quite a bit smaller. The top right and the bottom left, the doors are closed. The other 2 are open.
Can we see in either of the rooms that are open or hear anything that is?
Yeah. Which one are you looking into first?
Top. Did you say top left was one of the ones with open door?
Yep. It is a pretty generic men's bedroom of the era. It appears to have a couple of newspapers on the nightstand in English. There is a quite large and concerning looking watermark on the ceiling, suggesting that the roof's probably leaking. There's otherwise no one there. The other one appears to be the maid's bedroom. It's small. You can see evidence that some of the wash was being done in here, or at least tended to. From a quick glance in, you also see a romance magazine. So that'd be like a pulp on her nightstand. But otherwise, not a ton there. It does look like the crowd is sparser up here. People aren't going into the bedrooms as much. There's kind of milling in the hallway, and there is it looks like there is a less than thrilled woman outside of the one of the closed doors.
Are the people upstairs also intoxicated?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Being a reporter, I'd like to go look at those newspapers.
Yeah. Has the Arkham Advertiser, the Arkham Gazette. There are a number of family announcements that have been circled. So stuff of like upcoming weddings, upcoming business announcements, and a few notices of estates. So that's the legal process of when, someone's estate is going to be done. You have to post it in the newspaper in case people want to come out of the woodwork to try to get their cut of it. There's been obviously some attention paid there, and a few of them are circled or scratched out. But you can't really seem to find any obvious logic to it, short of someone's paying attention to this.
Do we recognize any of the names on there?
The various wealthy of the Arkham Valley, so the Arkham and the surrounding communities, but nothing seems to jump out at you. After you're looking through the newspapers, you hear a knock on the door. Actually, it's a besuited gentleman with a drink in hand. He said you look up and he knocks the door. He goes, please. Welcome to the party this evening. How are you this evening?
Doing just fine. How about yourself?
Quite well, thank you. I've been trying to ensure that I greet everyone, but some obviously managed to slip in. Zoltan Vagra.
Hi, Zoltan. I'm Elizabeth.
Massima.
Charmed. Excellent. You have grabbed a drink already, and quite glad to see you. Have you managed to meet anyone interesting at the party yet, or did you need any introductions?
We haven't met anybody but you.
Well, a tragedy in the making. Tragedy in the making. Have you met? Who to think? Have you met Professor Morgan?
No.
No.
Well, if you would mind, so he is trying to talk you into joining him to go downstairs. He wants to introduce you to someone. Are you gonna go with him, or are you just gonna try to blow him off?
With him.
Going with him? Yeah. So he brings you down to one of the back rooms, actually through the sitting room into the library. There is a billiard table set up, but no one seems to be playing. It's just kind of there, and it seems to be more being used for drinks to go on than anything. You do see 3 younger men in the back here. Look like they're all in their 20s. And from here, you can smell that there is a great deal of smoking going on across the kitchen in the dining room. It's practically billowing out of there. And you can, from the sound and the general countenance, it seems like a lot of the young people are back there. But you're introduced to Professor Francis Morgan. He kind of distractedly does the good to meet you. He is a professor at the Miskatonic University, which is the University in Arkham. He just kind of, you notice that as you go through the introductions, he kind of keeps glancing over your shoulders as though he's very much watching the door. And then no, I kind of messed up his face. It's just, yes, I'm supposed to have a no worries. Everything good? Oh no. Oh no. I assumed that. I have a colleague who's supposed to bring me a book back that I was worried about. Yeah.
The book or the colleague?
The book.
What's the book about?
You're gonna need to roll me a persuade to get that out of him, because he is.
No.
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 He goes. It's an old tome from the library. It has to do with the similarities of different rites in the Indus River Valley across multiple religions, and like, if you don't mind, I need to freshen myself up. So he's also going to walk off from you.
Okay. I'm curious about the room where all the young people are.
Okay, so that's the dining room. There's an electric phonograph in the corner with a young man serving as the 1920s version of the DJ, which means that he swaps out the records for a new one after the song. There's people dancing. Quite a few couples. And there is a frenetic like energy to this room. Everyone's like running around and dancing and having a lot of things. There is the distinct smell of tobacco in the air and other things being smoked besides. And then you see in the corner an old man appears to have it appears to be talking like an older man. He's in his 50s. Is talking with two university age women about something, and they are very much like entranced by what he's on about.
There are more people in the room than those four. So, yeah.
Yes, there's then a bunch of people dancing, and yeah, the room is full.
Okay.
This is where a lot of the younger people are.
Mhm.
Do we recognize anybody there as far as the young
Eugene?
person we were looking for?
No, Eugene Wilcox does not appear to be there. Yeah, so after a few moments, you see that the two young women who were talking to the older gentleman. He seems to finish his story, and then appears to he downs his glass in a single go, and appears to head off to get more. The two young ladies look at each other, and they appear to get raptured in conversation with something. And then they one of them looks over to you and then does a wave and then kind of is beckoning you over.
Over.
What do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's what. See, Lorraine, that's what I was saying. Lorraine goes, "It's fine." And was Laura. I'm at the university in English literature. So we were just that was Vinch. He's a spiritualist, and we were talking, and we were trying to figure out whether this whole ghost thing has anything to it or not. And every time we try to get into it, here Zoltan gets angry and tries to shut down all the conversations, and that's why he ran off. So I was just trying to see if we're in good company or not.
That's Zoltan is the person that we met earlier, correct?
Zoltan is the elder Varga, yes.
Okay.
So you're trying to figure out if you're in good company with Zoltan or with us?
We're trying to figure out there's fellow people who are looking into the truth, whether it be from realms supernatural or scientific. And then Lorraine picks up and goes, we had, we a few weeks ago, there was a seance on Saturday after the party. Adrienne had set it up, and a bunch of us ladies came, and we had hired, and Adrienne had hired Vinch, and we had a seance, and then it was quite something. He put on quite the show. And the first one again goes, no, it wasn't a show. Obviously something happened. And then Lorraine seems unimpressed and unconvinced by this. And he goes, anyways, after the whole thing, Adrienne ran off screaming, and Zoltan got angry and kicked everyone out, I should say.
So was he involved in this seance?
Zoltan or Vinch?
Zoltan.
No, he's no.
Just at his house.
Yes.
Was there an Eduarda there?
No, I said it was a bunch of us girls.
Okay.
And the first woman again goes, I just can't make heads or tails of it. Why, you'd invite people like Vinch and then have a conniption when he tries to practice his profession.
Wasn't just girls that were there.
Do you want to roll psychology?
That's a yes.
It's yes. Actually, yeah, they had, they had a fun little time. They hired Vinch, who is a spiritualist, to put on a seance for them. And that was in the 1920s. That was a thing you would do. Especially if you were a little bit more well off, you could support it. And yet, she's on the level. This is not her covering for anything. Apparently, something went weird at the seance. Adrienne ran off screaming, and Zoltan got really mad.
So what happened?
I mean, everything was going fine. They were doing the seance thing. You sit in a circle and you hold hands, and there's the candles, and Gerhardt does his chanting. That's Vinch. His name's Gerhardt. And everything's going fine. And suddenly Gerhardt starts growling, making these awful noises. And then the one cuts in, like he's choking. And then after a few moments of that, Adrienne begins screaming, and she falls out of her chair, and then she basically runs away. Vinch tried to stand up and then vomited everywhere.
Has anyone talked to Adrienne since?
Well, this was a few weeks ago. She's here every week.
She's okay now?
It's just been one of those things. And then Lorraine goes, I bet she was just putting it on.
What did she say about why she ran away?
She wouldn't say anything. We didn't talk about it. Zoltan got very upset, and she begged that he'd be mad at her. Then your conversation is interrupted by a gong. Everyone goes quiet, and you can see the maid and a couple of hired staff for the night are coming and handing out drinks, making sure people are full up. A bunch of people are heading towards the foyer. And there you see if you go to join them, question mark.
Yes.
You see a beautiful woman in her mid-20s, blonde in a very nice dress, holding a wine glass. And she goes, Tobacchus, patron of wine and revelry. And the crowd responds, Tobacchus, and everyone drinks. And then she goes, to love, to life, to youth everlasting, and to immortality. May our bell never toll, roars the response. Adrienne smiles at everyone. She said a beatific, I'm the center of attention look. And then you see the young man you recognize from the Wilcox's house. He steps up a couple of the stairs, puts his arm around her, and the two of them walk upstairs. And the party seems to resume with some applause and some hoots.
Follow them upstairs.
Okay. They go and are you trying to be stealthy, or are you just like
Kind of
screw it? Yeah. Give me a stealth roll to see if one of you can roll for the both of you. To not stick out of the crowd, not be obvious.
Do you want to roll, or do you want me to, Elizabeth?
Go for it.
I am very stealthy.
Very stealthy. Excellent. You make your way up and you see them slip into one of the bedrooms. And the door closes behind them.
Which bedroom did they go in?
The other bottom bedroom you didn't go into, so not the maid's bedroom.
They closed the door.
They have closed the door.
I listen at the door.
Give me a listen roll. That should be a skill on there.
Yes.
Yes. You hear. Excuse me. You hear a muffled conversation, and then you hear sound like some shuffling. And then I'm actually gonna need a sanity roll from you as your ear reverberates
Oh,
with the sound of the gunshot from inside the room.
I'm wanting below my current sanity, right? On that one as
Yes.
well. Yeah, no.
Yes. No?
No.
Oh, roll a dice. So you're gonna lose 3 sanity. Elizabeth doesn't have to roll because didn't have her ear up against a door immediately next to a gun discharge. Yeah. There's been a gunshot from inside the room.
Gonna open the door and find out what's going on.
Give me a strength roll because that door is not wanting to move.
Yep.
Yeah. You push and you shove and it takes some work. And as you start to push it open, you see this white rope-like substance that can stretch over the doorway from the inside that pulls and snaps. Eugene Wilcox is on the floor. A derringer lies next to his body. And it appears, based upon the wounds, that he has done himself in.
Where did she go?
Zoltan is rushing in behind you. Goes, where is Adrienne? And you and Elizabeth, or Massima and Elizabeth and Zoltan all at the same time look to the open window.
I'm gonna look out the window.
She's lying on the ground below, not moving. Zoltan runs. He's running down the stairs to go get to her.
So it's pretty obvious that Eduardo is no longer among the living.
Correct. It appears that he has. He has put his derringer in his mouth and emptied it.
It will not be easy to report back to his parents.
So you can hear, you can hear people starting to leave and make their excuses. Tends to have that effect on parties. Are you going to investigate anything in this room? It appears to be her room. You have that weird white stuff.
I'd like to know more about the white. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, it looks like a heavy white ropey substance. It's
ropey
very
substance.
sticky.
Sticky.
Hmm?
Okay.
Very sticky. And as as you're kind of like carefully touching it and like not, carefully like investigating it, it seems to be very faintly steaming, but it's not warm enough. And over the course of a few minutes, you actually start to notice that it is evaporating into nothing.
So kind of supernatural or magical.
Or something that is gaseous at room temperature, but also can be temporarily solid at room temperature without being exceedingly cold.
Okay.
So it's magic or really heavy cotton candy.
Is there anyone else still here that has the ability to contact spirits?
You can go check downstairs who's still here. You downstairs, Zoltan has brought in Adrienne. She is sitting in the library in a chair.
Wait.
She's alive?
Yes. She actually looks like shaken, but not too badly beaten up at all. People are largely flying out. Zoltan is the police have been notified. I'd suggest you take your leave. The maids and other staff are very quickly putting away the liquor. You do see Gerhardt kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Hovering. Not supernaturally. He's just kind of hanging out in the foyer, not really leaving.
I go ask him what's going on or what he thinks is going on.
Vinch?
Yes.
He looks very pale and concerned. And as you come up to him, actually, Zoltan yells, "You get out of here with your magic mumbo jumbo. I don't want any of that here." Zoltan slips you a card and he says, "Come see me and we'll talk."
Okay.
I'm going to ask Adrienne if she's okay.
She's not super responsive. She's just kind of she's very obviously in shock, and she is she is going on about how Wilcox pulled the gun and threatened her with it. She then was threatening to jump, and then he pulled the trigger. It's just kind of this like kind of repeating that kind of story of it.
So did you jump before he pulled the trigger?
I don't know. I don't remember.
What were you talking about before this all happened?
I don't know.
What's the last thing you remember?
I said, Wilcox had the gun and I was at the window and there was yelling, and that's all I remember. So you can start to hear the sirens of police. So you can hang around, or you can get out of there to avoid their attention.
I think we should get out of there. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking we've got his card. We'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe make our way back to Eduardo's family's house.
Yeah. That works for me. Yeah, you make your way out to the dark night to Wilcox Mansion. The parents are both up and obviously have been staying up worried. And Edwin answers the door and is, his face kind of falls, and it can't be good news if you're back here.
No, unfortunately, we have very bad news for you.
Well, come in.
Follow him inside.
Yep.
Yeah. We don't really have much information on the Vargas at this point, but unfortunately, Eduardo has taken his own life, or seemingly has.
Yeah, the Edwin seems to be in shock at this, but Grace goes, that Adrienne is a bad egg. I know it was her. She's something to do with this. And she just starts working herself up in anger. And after a few moments, Edwin goes, if you're up for it, I would like you to get to the bottom of this to ensure no one else has to suffer at their hands like we have. I'll continue paying, but whatever it takes, of course. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't think it would be this. I didn't think it would come to this.
Sorry this happened.
So
sorry. Bring them to justice, please.
We'll do our best.
am I able to gather anything from what mom was going on about Adrienne?
No, she just thinks she's up to no good. She's just she is it's a bit of young women these days. How dare they? It's a bit of how dare culture keep changing with beyond me. It's a bit genuine concern for her son, and it's a bit. It seems like this family was vaguely up to some suspicious stuff, given what you've kind of already gleaned, and the Wilcox's concerns that they were after the money. So there's nothing else. We can continue the conversation with the Wilcoxes, or there is a number of different kind of investigative leads you can follow up with right now. The most obvious apparently being dealing with Vinch.
I'm wondering if he's still at the house with the police.
Vinch?
Mm-hmm.
You saw him leave. He left before you did.
Oh, okay.
He got yelled at and left, and yeah, we can say, well, you have to go to bed at some point, and you go to him in the morning. I'm very very happy to make that time jump if it makes sense, and would assume it unless you were like, no, we're going to pull an all-nighter.
I think as much as I would not want to leave you guys in this time, that maybe it might be best for us to resume things in the morning.
Of course, we have to mourn and make arrangements, but you have your task and we have ours. Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done already, and thank you.
Be in touch.
Okay. So I assume you go to your respective lodgings for the evening, and the following day, do you meet up or go to separate investigations? What is the plan?
I would like to meet up. What would you like to do?
I'm good with meeting up. Safety in numbers.
Yes.
I'm unsure as to who I want to see first, whether I want to see Vargas or Fitch.
You could also call the police just to see what anything else they found. And you could also take a trip to the library, because there's a number of things you look up.
It seems calling the police might call undue attention to ourselves, as they aren't aware that we were there.
Fair enough.
Maybe we start with Vargas first.
Okay. I'm kind of curious how Adrienne is doing this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You go to the Vargas house. It is still dark, but actually there's no lights on by 11 a.m. You can go to knock, or you can just kind of leave them be, as it seems to be the house might still be asleep.
I think it's worth knocking. We've traveled this whole way to get here.
Yeah, and it is 11, and while it was a late night, I would think they'd be up by now.
Yeah. So you knock. The maid greets you at the door and just kind of looks at you with a kind of a blank look in his face. Her face.
Hi, we were here last night. We wanted to talk to Vargas and check on Adrienne this morning.
I show her that I have Vargas's card, and he said to get in touch.
She takes it and she looks at it, doesn't do the whole squint thing, and just kind of nods and leads you in. Zoltan is sitting in the front parlor reading a newspaper, and you see no evidence of Adrienne.
I'd like to take a look upstairs and see what the scene looks like in the light of day.
You're just gonna walk past them upstairs?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. You upstairs. All of the doors to the bedrooms are closed up.
Easier than I expected it to be. uh, am I up here alone at this point?
Yeah.
Well, I might as well keep going then.
Mhm.
Like to go back to that bedroom they were in last night.
Okay. The door is closed. Do you knock or just open it?
Just open it.
Okay. No one's in here.
Is there any evidence of the scene that happened last night?
There's evidence that someone has been cleaning. There is also you didn't notice it last night because of all the smoke, but there's like an odd, like musty, like off smell in this room.
And is all the ropey stuff gone?
Yes.
The window's still open.
Window is closed.
I look out the window and see what is below.
The yard?
Okay. Otherwise looks undisturbed.
Yep. Well, other than last night, yeah. Yeah, you just kind of, as you do that, you're like, wow, it smells not good in here.
I look around and see if I can find the source of the smell.
Yeah, roll me a spot hidden.
Nope.
No?
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna jump downstairs for a moment to Massima, covering for you, maybe. And let's see what happens. Massima, Elizabeth appears to have just gone straight upstairs.
I go in and talk with
Zoltan.
yes.
Ah,
Morning, Zoltan.
morning. How are you today?
A little tired, but other than that, I think I'm okay. I'm a little shooken about what happened last night and a little concerned about Adrienne. Everything going okay this morning?
As well as it could be, I guess. She wants to have a makeup party tonight. So take from that what you will.
So she was pretty confused last night, and when we were talking to her, is she okay this morning? I mean, like, she kind of jumped out a window, and her friend killed herself.
Yes, she was in shock last night, and I think it was just one of those instances of luck.
Does this happen often?
No, it's the first I've seen of it.
Where is she this morning?
She went out to the French Hill District, I believe. Something about doing some shopping for the party tonight. And she's got in her head that apparently this is going to be happening, but I don't know who would even think of attending.
You guys throw a lot of parties?
Usually just the one a week. The bacchanals, she calls them.
Okay. You gave me your card last night. Was there something you were wanting to discuss with me?
Out of character for a moment, I think you've confused his with Vinch.
Oh.
Vinch gave you his card at the end of the night about talking. Zoltan gave you one early in the night.
Okay.
Which was just more of a social equivalent. Yep, it's all good.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yes, apparently we're having another party tonight.
Do you feel it'll be well attended?
No, but sometimes Adrienne gets some idea in her head.
What do you know about the young man who shot himself last night?
Very little, I'm afraid. He's a member of one of the families here, and I'm not sure how much you know about our situation. But
no, I don't know much about your situation.
we're Hungarian nobility that has been exiled, and we're unfortunately trying to push together enough money for a legal case to sue for our lands and holdings back.
So you feel like you have land and things that are rightfully yours?
Well, I feel it has nothing to do with it. That is, the state is, our people were thrown off our land in Hungary.
Oh.
We're going to jump back upstairs to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you're going to roll me a sanity roll.
No.
No?
No.
All right. Okay, you're only going to lose one. So you take this quite well, all things considered. You're looking around and it smells foul in this room. The more you think about it, you're more of like, this smells almost like a crypt.
Oh.
And then you open her wardrobe and you find what appears to be basically a mummified man slumped up against the wall in it. He's in, like, his clothes look fine. Like, they look like brand new. There's no evidence of any wounds or anything. But that is it looks like a very long dead body in fresh clothes.
Do I recognize this person?
Roll me. What would be to recognize someone's face? Roll me an intelligence. That sounds right.
That looks good.
That was good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is the professor from the evening before.
You wearing the same clothes he was wearing last night?
Yep.
Okay. Or anything else with him in the wardrobe?
Her clothes.
Whose clothes?
Adrienne's.
Adrienne's clothes from last night.
No, just her clothing. Like multiple outfits.
Oh, all of her clothes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, this is not just a body wardrobe. This is a wardrobe she uses normally and then has stuff to body.
Okay. And he's Like he looks long mummified, so there's no way to tell how he died.
I mean, you could make me a first aid or a medicine roll.
Oh, that was good too.
That was good too.
Mhm.
Well, again, you can't see anything. There's no evidence of any cuts. There's no any gunshots or anything like that. There's no visible signs of foul play. He just has no water in his system. There's no blood. It is utterly dehydrated. You are a little bit concerned about handling the body too much for fear of like it's just gonna fall apart.
I'm gonna close the wardrobe again. Actually, is the wardrobe where the smell is coming from?
Yeah, that's the body.
Okay. Well, interesting that a mummified body would be so smelly.
Well, it'd be a mummified body now exposed to humidity again.
Okay.
Because it's a New England summer, so it's hot and humid.
What else is in the room?
Her bed, some magazines, her belongings.
Anything under the bed?
No.
Everything else looks like it's in place.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Adrienne would have gotten up early at some point. And then the place was cleaned. They cleaned up from the night before. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe the maid's been in there.
Assuredly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would like to go see if she's in the maid's bedroom then.
She is not.
She's not.
Maid's bedroom looks the same as last night.
Okay.
We're gonna jump back down to Massima.
When do you expect Adrienne to be home?
Well, she usually goes to the French Quarter and then visits. She goes and visits the Christchurch Cemetery and then comes home. So certainly before the evening.
What does she do at the cemetery?
Oh, did you not hear about one of her friends from the university passed away not too long ago. She's now had 2 such incidences in the last few weeks. It's a tragedy.
Both died of the same circumstance?
No, certainly not. But let me see. He goes. He is going through some older newspapers, and he looks like he manages to dig one out from a few weeks back. So copy the advertiser, and he shows you the article. A body was found in East Town as Roger Hudson, who was 23 years old. He went missing this week, according to police reports. The body was found in an advanced state of decay and been lying undiscovered for probably the better part of a week, according to the medical examiner. It's believed she died of heart attack, according to the autopsy.
Had he been in attendance of one of your parties?
Of course, that's how Adrienne knew him.
And how far from here was he found?
Well, it'd be East Town, so a 10-minute walk, 20-minute walk.
Okay.
Not the largest of cities are. So we're going to jump up to Elizabeth. Are you going to keep sneaking through people's stuff?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep being nosy and look in the other two rooms.
Sure. Your Zoltan's room looks unchanged from last night. The other room, the door won't open for you. It appears to be stuck or something.
Even if I pull on it really hard.
Would be a push. So the issue would be noise for you to try to like batter the thing down, but it's not really moving for you.
Oh. Blow my cover if I were to.
Perhaps.
I'm gonna try it anyway.
You ever tried anyways?
Yeah.
Roll me a strength.
Good.
Sorry, I beg your pardon?
Sorry.
I said, sorry, I beg your pardon?
Yeah, it is a good roll.
Good roll.
Uh-huh.
All right. It takes quite a bit of shoving, and obviously it's going to create some noise. As more of the white material appears to be keeping this door closed. But eventually you get it open. The room is immediately dusty. That much is obvious. And the next thing you see are dozens of dried carcasses of rats, mice, of squirrels. There's a raccoon. And then you hear from the corner, "Mommy, is that you, Mommy?" Massimo. You hear whomp, whomp, crash. And Zoltan is up. Frida's already heading up the stairs. And Elizabeth, you're gonna have to make me a sanity roll.
Oh, that's not good.
That's not good.
No.
You're gonna lose. You're rolling really well. You're gonna lose only 2 sanity.
Okay.
As you see a swarm of spiders start to come out from the corners of the room. They range from the smallest, or the size of a fist, all the way up to the largest ones are about the size of like a basketball. And they all have the largest ones have a face that looks like Zoltan's face. And then
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt this moment, but actual Elizabeth is here. And I just want to say hi. I've been here for like 10 minutes, but
hi.
It's just, or prisoner 619 or whatever you call me. So I didn't want to interrupt, but I just thought I'd say hi during this moment of sanity.
Sanity or less there. Oh, welcome. Yeah. Where was I?
Sorry, I assume we're playing another game.
Oh my gosh, where was I?
Spiders with
Spiders.
Zoltan's face.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, the biggest ones have Zoltan's face, and then you see a couple of them have Eugene's face and some other men's face, and some of the smallest ones have the professor's face. And they're all crying, "Mommy, Mommy. Massimo, Zoltan and Frida are running up the stairs.
I am going upstairs as well because I know
Okay.
that Elizabeth, I came in with Elizabeth and she went up there and yeah.
Okay. So Frida had a lead on you, but you're about neck and neck with Zoltan. Elizabeth Catherine Grimm, what are you gonna do about all these spider people?
Oh.
Because they're kind of starting to swarm towards you.
Yeah. I'm gonna slowly back away.
Okay, they kind of slowly coming towards you. Frida gets to the door, screams, and basically immediately runs away. So Massima and Zoltan, you deal with Frida going to the opposite direction now.
How are the spiders responding to her screaming?
They're just kind of still coming towards you.
Okay.
You know, still asking for their mother.
I'll pick the smallest one I can find and poke it.
You have to try to poke it, and it scuttles away from you.
Okay.
It very much seems to avoid, and they all are now like very much watching you. Massima, how about you give me a sanity roll as you get to come see the room full of spiders?
Good.
You're good? Okay, it's only gonna be one.
Huh?
You only lose one sanity.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you still lose it on a success because this is pretty messed up.
I thought you managed to make just one spider. I was pretty impressed.
No, there's a bunch of spiders there, and they all seem to be kind of swarming through that room.
So I'm looking at their faces.
Yeah.
And none of them have Adrian's face?
Nope.
And Frida's the maid, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's gone now.
Yes, like
Yeah. Zoltan appears to be in shock for a moment at the sight of this.
but only for a moment.
He will recover himself soon, and he will take an action of some sort that you do not know at this time.
Okay. So are any of the faces Frida's face?
Nope.
Okay. Do I see anything else out of the ordinary?
I mean, you see a lot of animal corpses. A lot of them are desiccated. Do you see Elizabeth who's trying to poke them? You and Elizabeth can share information with each other now, which may be of assistance.
So Eduardo was not the first of Adrian's friends to die recently.
Oh.
Just
Were her other friends also shot?
no. It's a university friend that was found after being exposed to the elements, shall we say, for what seemed to be about a week. and they said that they felt like it was a heart attack. But he has attended parties here before.
Zoltan turns and he is heading downstairs for something.
I found the professor's body in Adrian's room in the wardrobe. It's mummified.
But we just saw him last night.
I know, it's very weird.
And
His
just
clothes are
say,
normal.
Zoltan, where are you going?
His accent from before is gone. He is now talking in like a thick Boston accent. And he is muttering about best way to get rid of an infection is to burn it out.
What kind of infection?
He's down the stairs and he's doing something in the salon. You gotta go downstairs with him if you're gonna go check that out, or you can stay here because these spiders are still like, they're definitely trying to circle you.
Circle me now too?
Yeah, just both of you. There's a lot of them, like 80.
What happens if I try to step on one?
I mean, are you trying like aggressively or just kind of like tentatively?
Kind of tentatively, like,
Oh, it skitters out of the way.
okay.
And then like a few, and then they kind of like they have a bunch of them move back from you for a moment. And they just kind of like are like crawling over each other like a foot or so away, and then they kind of like slowly start to get into your space a little bit again.
Where did all these come from, Elizabeth?
I don't know. I opened the door. I saw more of that white ropey stuff, and then there were lots of spiders, and they keep asking if I'm their mommy.
They're actually asking Massman at you.
That's weird.
It's kind of still just occasionally being like, "Mommy, mommy."
They don't seem to be really afraid of us, though.
No. Wonder what would happen if we went downstairs.
You start to smell smoke.
Uh-oh.
Probably going to go towards wherever that is to see what's going on. Make sure I'm not going to get burnt up in this house.
I'm going to follow you.
Or can I tell where the smoke's coming from?
Yeah, the sitting room.
Yeah, I think it's time to go back downstairs, Elizabeth.
Yeah. So you climb down the stairs. Zoltan is starting what was definitely originally a fire in the fireplace. But is throwing furniture up against it, is tossing books at it. He's always throwing piles of newspaper in and wood to start the fire, and now is very much trying to light the house on fire.
What's going on, Zoltan? What are you doing?
You saw those things, abominations. They can't. Why are you so calm about this?
I mean, they're creepy, but like, why are you trying to burn down the house?
Wait, who said they are? And no, that's impossible. No, never. That's
Look
not.
at them.
He's going back to lighting the house up.
Spiders follow us downstairs.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Can I talk to the spiders?
You can try to.
Who are you looking for?
It's gonna say mommy again, and then one of them tries to bite your hand, kind of half-heartedly.
So you're looking for your mom. Okay.
One of them kind of starts to scramble on your shoe and tries to bite through the leather.
I'm gonna stop talking to him now. Um, so Zoltan, you're gonna continue to try to burn down the house.
He looks at you like you're mad. He looks at you like you've grown a third ear.
Okay. So I'm the one that's crazy about not wanting to burn these things up, or for not being scared of them.
Yeah, he's muttering under his breath that you're as mad as any of them.
Any of who?
You get the feeling he just kind of means everyone.
So Elizabeth, I think it might be time for us to move on.
He grabs the one of the coal shovel and starts swinging it at the spiders so that they start to get close to him, and they're calling him mommy as well. But the house is starting to go up. It's starting to get like smoky.
I'm gonna start walking towards the front door.
Yeah.
And then you hear the squealing of tires, actually, as you're kind of like getting out the door. Do you want to roll me some dodge rolls as you're heading out the front door?
I did not dodge.
No?
No.
You're just going to take 2 damage. As you do manage to jump out of the way of the car. But it's not like a good jump. It's not a graceful jump or anything. So you're definitely banged up and hurting as Adrienne, looking frantic and kind of not well, is driven up onto the yard in her vehicle, and she gets the door open, and she starts screaming at you, "My babies! What have you done to my babies?"
Your babies?
Sounds like we found their mommy.
The spiders things?
They're perfect. They're my babies, and I love them. So she's gonna try to take a swing at you. Yeah, you don't have to roll anything. It's like she's not good at fighting things. The punch isn't even close. This chick's a swing at you. She's gonna try to shove past you into the house. What are each of you gonna do?
I'm gonna warn her there's a fire in there.
Okay.
Did any of the spiders come out with us?
No.
also would have been wanting to warn her that her dad was trying to set the house and the spiders on
I mean,
fire.
it's pretty obviously the house was smoking and is starting.
Fair. What are you thinking, Adrienne?
All right. So she's gonna turn around at you, and you actually see her skin is like loose and drooping quite a bit. And you can see what looks like hairy chitin underneath, poking out. And that arm that took a swing at you before, look at that, was like a fist. Now looks a heck of a lot more like a claw. She's gonna take a swing at you again. I'm gonna let you roll a dodge, because you still you weren't caught flat-footed, and you are just trying to talk to her instead of scramble with her. No,
I'm obviously not very good at dodging either.
that's fair. That's fair. You're gonna take 3 damage.
Okay.
As her claw cuts into the flesh of your side of your neck, kind of thing, and leaves a bloody smear behind. How about you, Elizabeth?
I think I want to grab Massima and pull her out of there.
Okay. Yeah, looks like Adrienne's gonna head into the house, or the thing formerly Adrienne. You have a car still running up on the front yard. The house is very much starting to go up in flames.
Let's jump in the car and drive away.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Sure. Where are you gonna go? Just away? Huh?
Well, we might need to get her some medical care. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's medical care for turning into a spider?
I'm not sure.
Who's to say?
Am I now turning into a spider too?
Nope.
Okay, good. We might want to go find Fitch. See if he knows anything about what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, so you pass a fire truck going the opposite direction. Who's to say why? Probably not related. Vinch lives in a apartment building across the river. And it's not much to buzz him and for him to let you in. His apartment is quite modest. It's filled with books. He looks a little bit shaken up. And then he sees Massimus just kind of bloody mess and is like, are you all right?
Adrienne isn't, I don't think I thought she was, at least. And she come to swing at me.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Do you need to see someone, or?
It might be good feeling a little on the weak side at the moment.
Understandable, please. And he works at at least getting it bandaged up. And starts to fuss at that. He goes, "She took a swing at you and did this?"
Yeah, well, her hand kind of turned into more like a claw.
Word. This makes no sense.
Something about what did we do to her babies? Which I believe she was referring to some spiders with human-looking faces.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm concerned you might be in need of the sanitarium.
Oh,
Elizabeth, can you help back me up on some of this?
everything she's saying, it happened and more.
And you came to me?
Well, you seem to know things about the supernatural and things.
Yes,
So I thought maybe you might know something.
I deal with spirits and ghosts. This sounds like something else entirely. He starts to pace back and forth a little bit. He goes, I mean, I don't always get to meet the spirits I hope to meet, but in the Countess's case, I don't.
In whose case?
The Countess? Adrienne.
She's a countess.
Wait, that's their Hungarian nobility, or so they claim.
I think claim.
Okay, I mean, it sounds like that may be the lesser of our concerns at the moment.
Fair.
I don't know. I don't know what to do about a person who's become a monster of some sort.
You might not have to worry about it much longer, as her dad, so to speak, is trying to burn that. Well, is probably very successfully burning the house down at the moment.
Oh, well, my word, that's certainly a violent end to all things considered.
Something about the only way to cure something was to burn it out? An infection? Something like that?
Well, I mean, if you're dealing with a great number of vermin, that is one way to deal with an old shed or something, but a house? We could spread across this, it could spread.
Elizabeth,
You know,
there you go.
you know something about this infection?
No, what only you've told me. I made contact with something during the seance, something powerful and terrible, but I'm putting this together with what you've told me.
So, are you speaking of the same seance in which Adrienne took off running away?
Yes.
Could it have been something related to her that you made contact with?
Well, I would presume, but again, I don't know what it was. I couldn't even remember what I had made contact with or what had happened while I was under.
You mentioned vermin. There were
you mentioned spiders.
Yes.
Spiders aren't vermin.
I don't typically think of spiders as vermin. I think of them as more, bats and other four-legged pests.
Sure. You had said he was burning a house down for an infection. I was really trying to note, sometimes in the country you'd burn a shed full of that you've lured rats or something into.
But there is also the room the spiders came from had dried, desiccated vermin.
Okay.
We didn't say anything about that to you.
I was merely responding to you talking about the fire.
Are you sure you don't know more about this?
I am positive.
Does any of this surprise you?
Yes. As I have said, what is happening?
You know them better than we do. What do you think's happening?
I previously just thought they were eccentric Europeans. You've brought a great deal here to me, and well, there was the incident with the seance, and I knew there was something the matter, but I thought it was merely a matter of she was haunted by something, not whatever you're describing.
What do you think we should do?
I mean, it depends if you think this fire will truly deal with it.
No idea.
I mean, did Adrienne still seem to have her faculties?
Definitely not.
Well, it may be the best bet to simply see whether or not she survives the fire then.
You think she could survive something like that?
I meant Moore was able to escape it?
It didn't seem like she was interested in escaping it. She was heading toward it.
Okay. You asked my opinion. If she's truly become some monstrous thing, I would hope not to presume.
Okay. So you don't seem to know much more about this than we do.
I apologize. I think you thought I knew a great deal more than I do.
Sorry, did I miss anything about my question about the professor?
Oh, we didn't get your question about the
We
professor.
didn't get that.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if you know anything about the professor. As we learned some new or discovered something about the professor while we were at the house this morning.
The professor from the party last night?
Yes.
I had reason. There was gossip that he was a little too involved with Adrienne.
In what way?
Well, she was a practitioner of free love.
Okay. Do you believe that he is alive?
That was I. Do I have a reason not to?
Just curious, as you were in connection with the spirits.
I'm not actively engaged in a seance, though.
Hmm. Okay.
Wait, why do you bring him up?
Because my friend Elizabeth here found him in Adrian's room.
Well, that certainly lends credence to the rumor.
Maybe not in the current state that he was found. Desiccated in her wardrobe.
The professor who was alive last night.
Well, he definitely seemed alive last night.
So,
but many things are not seeming to be much like they were last night.
if I may, it seems to me that you have brought word of all sort of bedlam to my door in the hopes that I would be able to provide some additional information with how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I find myself largely unable to do much, if anything, directly to this matter. So, I mean, there's little I can suggest to you beyond either attempting for us to conduct a seance and seeing if that allows us to bring any more light on the matter, or to go determine whether the state of bedlam has resolved itself or become worse.
What would you recommend?
Well, I don't know.
I'm not so sure I want to go back there. It was getting really scary.
Was. So, Elizabeth, then am I hearing that you are suggesting that we go with his other option of attempting a seance to see if we can figure anything out?
I think that would be the safer option.
Theoretically.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm game for that. Definitely would be an interesting experience.
Well, very well. I'll prepare the candle. Yeah, he looks more than a little out of sorts with this entire matter. And he putters about starting to prepare that itself, he clears off his small table that barely has room for the three of you. Lights the candle and sits in the middle of the table, and then sits down and asks you to join him.
Sit down at the table with him.
Says, let your minds relax. Let your energy flow. He closes his eyes, and there's some low chanting for a few moments. You try not to think about the slight sting of smoke in the air. He goes, "Where are you? Where's the one that reached out to me before?" Nothing happens. And there's a long moment. He goes, "I beseech you," he raises his voice, "where is the one who reached out to me before?" There's a long moment, and it goes, candle gutters, as though like there's a strong wind here, but there's closed windows. You're here. And then you each feel Vinch's hands tighten. You can hear the walls begin to creak. And then the room starts to get darker, even though it shouldn't be able to. It's the middle of the day. And then you hear the crack of the wooden table breaking. And Vinch is slumps and is looking straight down. And you hear quiet, no voice that sounds harsh and deep. I'm the mother.
Of
I am the mother.
the mother of who?
Intruders, this is my realm. I reign here. You
What
can
is your
see Vinch is starting to turn his neck, and you can hear the vertebrae pop. Goes, aha, nahach.
Who said that?
Vinch / whatever is in Vinch's body.
Okay.
Was that the name? That's
Yep.
your name? Okay. Where are you from?
The dark before things, the dark before all things. And then his neck keeps turning and twisting, and he starts to he digs his teeth into his own shoulder, and then collapses on the floor, and is foaming at the mouth and non-responsive. And the lights start to come back on. Wherever cloud it was in front of the sun or whatever lightens up, and the room can be seen again.
Does he seem to come back into awareness, or is he still foaming on the floor?
I mean, he's not actively foaming. He's also not coming back to awareness.
kind of go down next to him and just kind of nudge him a little bit.
Nope.
See if I can get him to. Elizabeth, what have we done?
No, I don't think he actually knew more than we did.
Seems that way.
All right. And we're actually going to wrap there with an inconclusive ending. We do a quick explanation of, so Adrienne had made a deal with Atla Nahak to live forever. In exchange, she was feeding it people. And this way, she was able to actually gather her children and escape, and still haunts the backwoods of Arkham Valley to this day. So that was Call of Cthulhu. As you can see, it's a bit of a meandering one because you're investigating, and that can stretch and be very different times depending on where you go with that. So one of the things we were asked about at the beginning was teachable moments. So I was wondering if there's anything from this that you all thought was good, or any thoughts or whatever to end us out on.
I think the idea of the of sanity from the perspective of it being kind of trauma related, that would be an interesting teachable or usable moment with the right clients, as far as kind of understanding that kind of comes and goes depending on what your experiences are.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I'm not an expert on that side of life by any stretch. I mean, for me, I one of the things I really enjoy is, and it didn't come up as much this time because you all rolled really well for not losing sanity, which meant your characters kept their stuff under control. Was how both, trauma and stress tends to accumulate, and
Right.
and then how you can in game terms, if you lose control, because it's a very binary approach from the design space, but how that is like life sometimes. If you don't have this perfect one-to-one control of yourself, and you have all sorts of urges and things that you kind of do automatically without super wanting to. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the game this evening. I hope that it was an interesting experience, if nothing else.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was definitely different from our other campaigns I've seen done with this. So very well done, Tyler. And
thank you.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And hopefully we'll get to see you guys again on your next session that you're with me, which is your week 7, I believe. And hopefully we see more of the cohort next time. Have a wonderful night, you guys. Take care. And we'll see you guys on the next time.
Thank you.